In the same way, we have discussed about text area element, select element, and we have discussed about different types of input element. Types and attributes of input element. Okay, this is what we have discussed in the last session. Yeah. So in today's session, we will discuss about one of the element called marquee. So anybody knows about this marquee element? Okay. Anybody have any kind of knowledge on this marquee element? Yeah. So basically, marquee element acts like a container. It basically acts like a container in which we can add some text or image. In this container, we can add some text or image. Text or image. So what is marquee? Marquee element is like a container where we can add some text or image, and it gives us the scrollable effect. Basically, it helps us to create the scrollable effect. So in your web page, if you want certain content or certain image should be scrollable, okay, from all the directions. For example, this is my web page. Now I want here I have, let's suppose I have some content here. Okay, something like HTML. And I want this HTML content should be scrollable. It should scroll like this. Direction can be left to right or right to left. Direction can be from left to right or right to left, or from top to bottom or from bottom to top. Direction can be from left to right or from right to left, or it can be from top to bottom or from bottom to top. So if you want to add scrollable effect on your text or on your images, then we can go with this marquee element. We can go with this marquee element. So if I go back here, if I simply create one file, something called marquee.html, and if I create here basic HTML document, and if I take marquee tag here, inside this, let's suppose I'm adding some content. Okay, welcome to HTML and CSS. Now if I save it and if I just open this document in my browser, now see here scrollable content is created. Some scrollable content is created. Here your content is scrolling. Maybe inside this, I will take this entire content inside H1. Okay, so by default, your content is moving from right to left. If you want, you can change its direction. You can change its direction. So before we change its direction, let me add some basic style. For this marquee element. For example, I will just add the border 2 pixels solid, maybe something like black. Let's see how it looks. So it looks something like this. Let me remove the margin for body. Now this is our marquee element. So if you want, you can increase the height. Here I'm just adding something like 200 pixel. If I say 200 pixel, it will be like this. So if you see, your content is moving from right to left. And it has some speed, right? It has some speed. If you want, you can increase the speed. You can, if you want, you can change the direction of your scrollable effect. Like instead of moving content from right to left, you can make it from left to right, or you can make it from top to bottom or bottom to top. So if you want to change the direction, if you want to change the direction of your content, then we have a attribute for this marquee element called direction. So there is one direction attribute. Using this direction attribute, you can change the direction of your content. And what are the different values we can assign? We can assign the values like left, right, up, down. Okay, now if I go back here, and here if I assign direction, and if I assign something like up, and if I save it, if I go back here, now see, my content is moving towards up. It is moving towards up. If I say down, my content will move towards down. If I say left, my content will move towards left. This is the default value. If I say right, my content will move towards right. Okay. Instead of text, we can add one image also, right? So can we add one image here? Okay, something like width 100, height 100. I just want to add some image. So here I'm just adding something like car images. Okay, let's grab some image. And let's add here. Now see here, we are able to move our image as well. So you can move your image, or you can just scroll your content. If you want, you can increase the speed. You can increase the speed as well. Okay, I'm just taking one more marquee container here. Okay, let me just add here something like margin top 30 pixel. Now let me just remove this image from here. Okay, so let me keep direction as the left. And I want to increase this speed. I want to increase the speed. So if you want to increase the speed, then you have something like scroll amount. You have an attribute called scroll amount. Now you can specify the seconds here. If I say 10, now see the speed of my element will elements will be little fast compared to this one. Okay. Now this is our marquee. Now if you want, you can start delay of your scrolling also. Suppose you want your scrolling delay should start after few seconds, maybe after 2 seconds you want to start that scrolling. Then we have one more attribute called here scroll delay. We have something called scroll delay. Now here I am saying something like 2000 milliseconds. Let's try. If you see here, it is starting very slow. So let me just give here 2 seconds. Now, scrolling effect is starting very slow. Scroll delay. Okay. And if you have one more effect, something called behavior. Now, if you see, your content is scrolling from here and it is ending here. Again, it is starting from here. If you want, you can change the behavior. You can make alternate behavior. Alternate behavior means the content will scroll from here. It will reach at the end. Again, it will start in the reverse direction. It should start in the reverse direction. So for that, we can just use. So let me add on the top here. Let me remove this. And let me add behavior. Here I can add something like alternate. If I add the value as an alternate, now just check here. Let me just increase the speed here a little bit. Scroll amount, maybe something like 10. Or maybe something like I will add 15. Now just check this, the behavior of this first content, this content. Here we have added behavior, right? Behavior alternate. I think spelling is wrong. Here I have to remove this U. Now let me just check. Now see the behavior of this content. It reaches to the end. Again, it starts from here. Now this is like alternate value. We have something like sliding. One more value what we can add is sliding. Now this is your sliding. We have something like scrolling. Anybody can find what is the difference between sliding and scrolling? Can you guys find the difference between sliding and scrolling? What is the difference between sliding and scrolling? So here I'm adding sliding. Anybody is able to find any difference in this sliding and scrolling? Okay. Now this you have to research. What is the difference between sliding and scrolling in the for behavior attribute of marquee element? Let's see how many of you will be able to find the difference. Okay. Yeah. Now, if you want, you can add one more effect here. So let me just make it as alternate. We can add one more attribute, that is loop. Using this loop attribute, we can tell to the marquee how many times it should loop. How many times it should loop. Okay. So here I can give the values. I can give different values for looping my marquee element. Here I can say loop only one time. If I say one, now just check the effect. Now it is stopped here. I can say here 2. If I say 2, now just check the effect. Stopped here. If I say 3, this is 1, then 2, and it is 3. So if you want, you can just control the looping of your marquee element. How many times you want to loop. So if you want to loop for infinite, just remove this attribute. Now it will loop for infinite times. So these are the different attributes that we can configure for this marquee element: direction, loop, behavior, scroll amount, scroll delay. You can add width, you can add height. These are the different attributes that we can configure for this marquee element. Okay. So this is about your marquee element. Now, one more element we have to explore, that is iframe. Basha, that you can do with your JavaScript. You can do with that JavaScript. Now, what is iframe? So iframe is one more element in your JavaScript using which we can embed another document in our document. Suppose you have an HTML document. inside this HTML document, if you want to embed another document here, another HTML document, if you want to embed in your document, in that case, we can go with iframe element. We can go with iframe element. Iframe element will allow us to embed another document inside our document. So let's suppose this is your index.html document. Now inside this index.html document, you want to embed home.html document. Then using iframe, we can do that. So what we will do, inside our index.html, inside our index.html, we will create some iframe containers. Like this, we can create any number of iframe containers. And inside this iframe containers, we can embed another HTML document. We can embed another HTML document. Another HTML document. So this is how we can do with iframe. So iframe is an element which will allow us to embed other HTML document inside our document. Okay. So let me show you. So here I am taking iframe.html, creating a simple document. Inside this, let's suppose I am taking one div. Inside that, I am taking iframe. Now here, let's suppose I am adding one h2 element. I'm saying iframe element. Now, if I open this document in my browser, you will see that this is your document. And inside that, one container is created here. And this container we are going to call as a iframe container. Now, inside this container, if you want, you can add some content. So basically, how to add the content? So inside this iframe container, we cannot directly add the content. We have to embed another HTML document. So for that, we will go to this iframe. This iframe element will take one attribute called src. And to this src attribute, we have to assign the path of another document. For example, inside this iframe, I want to show this marquee.html. So simply I will add here marquee.html. And if I save it, now see, marquee document is embedded in my iframe. Now this is the default size. If you want, you can increase and decrease the width and height of your iframe. So let's suppose I'm just going with style tag, selecting the iframe, and I just want to give the width something like 80% and height something like 400 pixels. Now see, this is our iframe. Now inside that, we have our marquee document. So inside our iframe document, we are able to embed marquee document. So like this, you can create any number of iframes. I can create one more container here. And let's suppose here I am creating one more document, something like HTML doc.html. Creating here some document, something like h2 HTML document. Maybe I am adding here some paragraph, something like lorem 200. And here simply I am adding the image tag. Some width, here some height. Now my requirement is this HTML doc.html. This document I want to embed in this frame. So what we will do, simply we will give the address of that document. Save it. If you go back here, if you scroll down, now see here you got it. If you want, you can just add one HTML image here. Right click, copy image link, paste here. Save it, go back. Now here you will be able to see that. Now inside our iframe document, we are able to embed two documents. One is marquee document, another is this HTML document. So like this, you can create any number of iframe containers and you can embed any number of other HTML documents, another HTML documents. Okay. So iframe is used to embed another HTML document, another HTML document. And inside this iframe, inside this opening tag and closing tag of iframe, we should not add any content. Here we cannot add any content. Even if you add this content, you will not be able to display this content. So iframe is just like a container where we can embed another document. So it should be something like this. So iframe was introduced in the version HTML5. Before iframe, there was another concept which was very similar to iframe, that was frame set. Frame set and frame. Now it is completely outdated. It is completely outdated. No one uses this concept. Completely outdated. So alternate to your frame set and frame, iframe element was introduced. Okay. Now you guys have to find out the answer. What are the drawbacks of frame set element? Okay. Now why I am giving like these questions to you guys, because when you go and refer these questions, when you start searching, you will start learning the things. And in your real time, once you start working, there will be a lot of errors which you will encounter while developing the applications. You might fall into errors or you might fall into bugs. Now in your company, there will be no one who will help you. So each and every time you cannot ask your teammates, you cannot ask your seniors to resolve your doubts, because they will have their own work. So at some time they might help, but always they will not help. So you should know how to rectify your errors. You should know how to resolve your bugs. So for that, you should know how to go through Google, how to read the documents, how to understand the solutions. Okay, that skills you need to get. So to get that skills, I'm just making you guys to practice. So like this, I'm giving you some questions and I'm asking you to go and explore. Now what you guys will do, you will go to the internet and you will just find, you will type, what are the drawbacks of frame set? Now whenever you type this query, now you will get lot of articles here. You will get lot of articles. Now just go and read those articles. Now here, if you go and read this article, then you will get some knowledge here. You will get some knowledge. You will understand about that concept. You will understand about that drawbacks of that frame set. And there is one more advantage. When you go and read these articles, your communication skills will improve. Your communication skills will improve, and you will understand how to explain certain concept to someone else. If someone is asking you about certain XYZ concept, then you will understand how to explain those concepts. Okay. So this is the only my intention, to make you guys go through certain concepts by your own. And trust me, guys, if you do like this, within 1 month, you will see a lot of improvement in yourself. Okay. If I just go back to this, did you guys visited W3 school? Or maybe something like tutorial point? If I just open here something like maybe JavaScript. Now here you are seeing some links on the left side, and on right side also you are seeing some links, right? Some content you are seeing. So to create this kind of content, they might have used some HTML and CSS. Do you believe that? Now, if I click on this option, something like JS output, there is one link here, JS output on the left side. If I click on this, my content is changing here. My content is changing. If I click on JS operator, again my content is changing. And if you see here URL, this is your file name, js_operators.asp. Now if I click on this data types, now here the file name has been changed to data types. It means in this place they are changing the files. Sometimes here they are showing data type file, sometimes operator file, sometimes this comment file, sometimes syntax files. So what they have done, they have created a lot of files, comment file, your data type file, okay, your variable file, like that. And this is your document. In this document, they have made two sections, like they have created like these two sections. Here they have mentioned some links. Link 1, link 2, link 3. Okay. Now, if you click on first link, what they are doing, they are just taking this document, they are adding here. If you click on link 2, they are removing this document, they are adding this document. If you click on link 3, they are removing this document, they are adding this document. And inside this respective documents, they have added all the content. Here they have added the content related to variables, here data types, here operators, like that. And that is what effect we are getting here, right? If I click on syntax, I got syntax. To create this, they have created some UI here. If I click on introduction, I got here introduction. So can I implement same kind of feature? Can I implement this kind of feature? Using iframe. Using iframe, can I do something like that? Can I create 3 documents here? HTML document, CSS document, and one JavaScript document. Okay. So let me create first 3 documents. Already we have HTML document. Let me create here one CSS document, one JavaScript document. Okay. Let me just copy the same code, paste in CSS, and let me just change the content. Here, let me say it as a CSS document. And here I want CSS image. So I will just grab some image from internet, something like CSS images. I will grab one of the image and I will paste here. In the same way, I will go back to this JS. I will paste the code and simply I will change here to the JavaScript document and change the image. Here instead of CSS image, I want to search for JavaScript image. Okay, let's suppose I want to add this image. Okay, so what I did, I created 3 documents: HTML, CSS, JavaScript. I will create one main document. I will create one main document like this. I will create one main document. And this, the name of this, I will give something like main document. And this main document, I will divide into 2 sections like this. Okay, inside this first section, I will create one iframe container. I will add here iframe container. Here also, I will add one more iframe container. So I will go back here. I will create one main.html. And as per my requirement, I require 2 sections. So first I will take one container. Inside that, I will take one left panel and something like right panel. In left panel, I will keep one iframe. In right panel also, I will add one iframe. Now, if I open this document, it looks something like this. Okay, here 2 containers are created, but I want this kind of structure. I want this kind of structure. So can I use flex concept here? Can I select this container? Can I say display flex? Can I give some height? Something like 400 pixel, and width, I will just add 800 pixel and some box shadow. Okay, we got something like this. So let me just add margin also. Something like 30 pixel auto. Okay, we got this effect. Now, can I select this left panel? And can I say here width 80%, height, not 80%, let me make it 20%, and height 100%. Not left panel, we will do this iframe. Okay, left panel. So here also I will let me give some name, left panel, and here let me add name as a right panel. Okay, I'm just giving the name to my iframe. This iframe name as a right panel, this iframe name as a left panel. Now this properties I need to add for my iframe. Okay, I need to add for my iframe. So if you want, I can just select here ID. I can say left And here I will select with hash left. Now we got something like this. So let me do one more thing. Let me just add some background color so that we can understand. If I add black, it looks something like this. I will select this one. Here also I will give ID, right? Hash, right? And let me add here width, %, height 100%. Okay. Now let me select this left panel. Here width I will make as 20% and right panel width as 80%. Now if I save and go back, it looks something like this. Okay, just for our understanding sake, this background color can I add here in the left panel, and let's see how it looks like this. And I will add one more background color in the right panel. Maybe here I will just add some other color. Now we got something like this. Okay, here 20/80. Instead of that, can we go for 70/30? We got something like this. Or else can I increase the width here? Can I make 1200 pixel for container only? I got something like this. Maybe 1000. Yeah, fine. I will increase the height to 500 pixel. So it looks like this. So what I did, I took one container here. Okay, what I have done, I have taken one container like this. In that container, I have taken two divs and made that two divs to display something like this. Okay, this is the first div, this is the second div. Now in both the divs, I have added my iframe. I have just added my iframe. Here I have added one iframe. Here I have added one iframe. This is what I have done. Is it clear up to here? Understood what I have done here? Container, left panel, right panel, inside that iframe. Container, here left panel, right panel, and in each panel I have taken one iframe. And to both the iframe, I have assigned one name attribute and one ID value. Is it clear up to here? Anybody have any kind of confusion? Yeah. Now tell me, inside this iframe, can I design the UI? Can I design something like this UI? I want here HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Can I design like this UI? Inside my iframe, can I design this kind of UI? Okay, inside iframe we cannot design. Okay, inside iframe we cannot design. Inside the iframe we cannot design. What we can do, we can create one document inside that document, we can design the UI as per our requirement. Then this document we can add inside this iframe. Okay, inside iframe we cannot design any UI. We can create a separate document. In that we can design the UI as per our requirement. That document we can add inside the iframe. We can display inside the iframe. Is it clear for everyone? Yeah. So now what I want to do, I want to create one more document called anchor.html. Here I am creating one more document, something called anchor.html. Creating one more document called anchor.html. And inside this anchor.html document, I want to create this kind of design. I want here HTML. I want here CSS. I want here JavaScript. Like this, I want some 3 options. Maybe in future you can add more options. Maybe HTML, CSS, JavaScript, maybe something like React. Like this, I want to configure multiple options. I want this kind of design inside this document. So can I do one thing? Can I create one container here? Inside that container, can I take 4 anchor tags? I have taken 4 anchor tags. Here I will add HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js. React.js. Okay. Now, if I open this document, it looks something like this. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React. Now, can I add this document? Can I add this document in my iframe? Inside this iframe, inside this left panel. How to add? Simply for that, we have to take src. And here we have to add anchor.html. Now, if I go back to my browser, let me close all this. Now see, here I got this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but I don't want to display like this. I want to display in this way. It means I need to add some CSS. So inside this anchor.html, I will select style tag. I will select this container. I will make this container as a flex container. Display flex. If I say display flex, by default, all these anchor elements will display in the row direction, but I want they should display in the column direction. If I go back here, I got here in the column direction. Now let me change the color. For all this anchor tag, I will add color as a white. I will increase the font size to 22 pixel. Okay, text decoration, I will say none. So I will get something like this. Now I want this content should display exactly in the center. How to display exactly in the center? For that, we can go with align items center. I got in the center. Now I want equal space should be added between all these anchor tags. I can use something like justify content and I can say space evenly. Yeah. Now here I need to increase the height. Okay. Now here I have used justify content space evenly. Now, are you able to see that effect here? Are you able to see that effect? Why we are not able to see that effect? Okay, to understand why this property is not applied. Basically, this property is applied, but we are not able to see that effect. Why means, for that we have to understand what is the height of my container. First, try to identify the height of your container. So to identify the height of your container, I'm just adding here one background color, something like green. Just for temporary purpose, I'm adding background color just to identify what is the height of my container. Now see, this is the height of my container. This is the only reason why that justify content property is not showing the effect. So can I increase this height? Can I increase this height? Can I say height 100%? But if I say 100%, now see, here I am not getting that effect. Now, can you guys tell me how to increase the height of this div now? Here I am adding height as 100%. If I say height as 100%, then why I'm not getting here 100%? If I say 100 VH, I'm getting here scroll bar. If I select here body, and if I remove margin, I got proper now. Okay. So here I have taken height as 100 VH. Now let me remove this background color. I don't want. Now we got HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js. Now let me remove this background color also. Now we got this effect. Now my requirement is, if I click on this HTML, if I click on this link, I should navigate to this HTML doc. Okay, this is the link, right? We have created HTML. If I click on this HTML, then I should navigate to the HTML doc. Now if I save it, if I go back here, if I click on this HTML, now here I got that HTML doc. Here I got that HTML document. But what we want, whenever I click on this anchor tag, the new HTML document should not open inside this iframe. I want it should open in this iframe. Here I want it should open. So if you want to open this new document inside this iframe, then what you have to do means, for this anchor tag, you have to assign one target attribute. And to this target attribute, you have to add the value of your iframe where you want to open that new document. So this document should open in which iframe? That iframe name you have to add here. I want to open in the right panel iframe. Now, if I go back here, if I click on HTML, I got here HTML document. Now, same thing we have to do for CSS also. Now, whenever you click on this CSS, this document will open, CSS doc.html. But where it should open? It should open inside the right frame, nothing but right panel. So like this, we have to add for all this. Now, if you go back here, now if I click on HTML, I got HTML. If I click on CSS, I got CSS. If I click on JavaScript, I got JavaScript. If you click on React, you should get here React. Now you have to create the React document for that. Now see how you are able to achieve this kind of functionality using your iframe concept. Now, if you want, you can increase and decrease the size of your container. Okay, for this container, I can say height should be 100 VH. If I say 100 VH, it looks like this. Okay, if you want, you can remove this margin. Here you can say 0 pixel from top and bottom. And for the body also, we can remove that margin. And we can make width as 100%. Now for this iframe, we can select the iframe. And for iframe, just add border none. If you add border none, it looks something like this. Now see, if I click on HTML, I got here HTML document. If I click on CSS, I got CSS. If I click on JavaScript, I got JavaScript. Here React.js. So for this, I'm adding one property called overflow hidden. You won't understand what is this overflow hidden. So let me just add it. Now, if you see, if I don't add this property overflow hidden, in that case, what happens here? If you see here, you got two scroll bars. This is a, you have here one scroll bar. Here also you have one scroll bar. I want to remove this scroll bar. If you want to remove this scroll bar, then you can add one property called overflow. And the value of that you can add as a hidden. If you say hidden, then that scroll bar will be removed. Now you will have only one scroll bar. CSS, here JavaScript. Now can I reduce this percentage? Can I make it as a 20%? If I make 20%, it looks like this. Maybe 25. It looks like this. And if I'm making this as a 25, I will make this as a 75. HTML, CSS, JavaScript. And if you click on React, here you will get React. We are able to implement same kind of features using our iframe. So basically the concept of iframe is if you want to embed another HTML document in your existing document, then you can go with iframe concept. Okay. Now, yesterday I have explained you, right? What is the difference between percentage and VH? In one of the class, I have explained, right? Difference between percentage and VH. If you use VH, what happens? If you use percentage, what happens? Percentage unit will depends upon the parent element size. Whatever parent element size you have, according to that, it will take the size value. But VH is not like that. VH will occupy the complete space available. Okay. So the people who did not watch those videos, which I have explained about percentage and VH, you guys just go through that previous videos. You will understand what is the difference between them. Before explaining Netflix page, I have explained the difference between this. I have explained two units, right? Viewport width and viewport height. Yeah. Now, if there is one issue here, what is that issue means? Whenever my page loads, by default, are you showing anything here? By default, are you showing anything? See, whenever my page loads, by default, I am not showing any document here. So if you don't show any document here, it gives little bad user experience. So whenever my page loads, by default, I want to show some document here by default. Maybe I want to show HTML document by default. So if you want to show by default some document, nothing you have to do. You have to go to that iframe, that is right panel. This is the right panel. Simply add src attribute and assign your default page. I want to assign HTML page as a default. So now whenever your page loads, by default, it will show this HTML document by default. Now, if you click on CSS, you will get CSS. If you click on JavaScript, you got JavaScript. Again, if you click on HTML, you got HTML. So showing like that empty screen doesn't look good. It doesn't give the good user experience. So by default, if you want to show any other document, then we can explicitly add one src attribute. And whatever document you want to show by default, you just add the path of that particular document. Okay. So that's totally your wish. Whatever you want to add, you can add. I want to add HTML. So here HTML. Okay. This is how we are going to use the iframe concept. Very rarely now iframe is used because so many DOM manipulation. Instead of embedding another document, we will just change the content only. So we got so many new techniques to show different content on click of certain links here. Okay. So we will not go much. We will not use this iframe concept much in the real time nowadays. So if you are using the concepts, frameworks and libraries like React and Angular, we will never use iframe. We will never use. So in my developer experience, I have never used iframe. If you are using React or Angular, now we have different techniques in these libraries and frameworks where we can implement this kind of features. We can enable this kind of features without using iframe. Okay. So once we start with React in future, then there I will show this kind of examples. How we can do with React. How can we implement this kind of feature with React? Okay, for example, let me just show you one example. Okay, now this is React application. This application is created with React. Like if I click on these products, now see here we got similar kind of design. So here we have some links: electronic, jewelry, men's clothing, women's clothing. And here we are able to see some content here. Now if I click on jewelry, content will change. If I click on electronic, content will change. Now this kind of behavior, now this kind of user interface, we have not created using iframe concept. We have not created using iframe concept. Like if I click on any particular link, you will land on its details page. Details of that particular product we will display. Now all this data is coming from server. Now this data we haven't hard coded. All this data is coming from server, nothing but from database. Now this feature we have implemented using React. Okay, like this. Now if you see here we are able to show all the users, like male users and female users. So some of the users are male, some of the users are female. If I check this male, then I just got only male users. If I check female, I will get only female users, only female. If I check all, I will get the combination of male and female users. Now, this kind of functionality we can implement using JavaScript. And implementing this functionality in JavaScript is little complex. You have to think, you have to write a lot of code. Same functionality you can implement in React or Angular within few steps, just by writing few lines of code. Suppose if I want to implement this functionality in JavaScript, so in JavaScript, to implement that functionality, let's assume I am writing 100 lines of code. Same functionality I can implement in React or Angular only by writing 30 lines of code. Same functionality I can implement in React or Angular by just writing 30 lines of code. Here, 100 lines of code I need to write using JavaScript. Using React, I just need to write 13 lines of code. Now, as a developer, tell me, you will prefer JavaScript or you will prefer React to develop the applications? Yeah. Okay. So this is how this React Angular became very popular in the market. You can, if you use Angular or React, first of all, the development speed of your application will increase. It means in shorter time, you can develop the application. If you use plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript to develop the application, then the development time might take it might take lot of time to develop entire application. So if you are developing an application with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, let's suppose it is taking 4 months. Same application you can develop with React or Angular within 2 months. It means the development time has been reduced with your React and Angular. And the performance of your application will be fast if you use React and Angular. And the performance of your application will be little slow if you develop that application with plain HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So like this, there are a lot of advantages we will get if you use some library and framework. This is the only reason why everybody wants their application to be developed using some library or a framework. And even as a developer, we want application to be developed using these libraries and framework, because we will get lot of inbuilt support. We will get lot of inbuilt support. No need to write code for each and everything. 50% of code we will write, 50% of code already written by React and Angular. So it will save our time. Okay, so these are the reasons why this React, Angular, Vue.js became very popular in the market. Without JS, you cannot learn React, you cannot learn even Angular. Don't do that mistake, guys. If you don't know JavaScript, okay, frankly, I am saying, if you don't know JavaScript, don't even touch React.js, don't even touch Angular. You will not understand even 1% of React, 1% of Angular. So JavaScript is the most important technology, I can say. If you want to be a full stack developer, if you want to be a Modern Stack, Mean Stack, or Maven Stack, then JavaScript is the most important technology in your entire stacks. Most important technology. Because if you know JavaScript, then only you can learn React, Angular, Vue, TypeScript. You can learn Node, Express, MongoDB. Without JavaScript, you can learn only 2 technologies. And that 2 technologies are HTML and CSS. Without JavaScript, you can just learn these 2 technologies. So please don't think that if you know the basics of JavaScript, you can learn entire React. No, you can start with React if you know basics of JavaScript. To understand React or Angular in depth, then you have to master JavaScript. Remember, you have to master JavaScript. The more stronger you are in the JavaScript, the more easier it will be for you to understand React, Angular, or Vue, or Node.js, or MongoDB, or Express.js. Okay, you should know basic concepts. You should know advanced concept to learn all these technologies. So a lot of people will do this mistake. If React batch started or if Angular batch starts, they will directly join without having the knowledge on JavaScript. And they will initially they will understand few sessions, maybe first 15 days they will understand. But once they enter into complicated or complex topics, everything will go out of it. Everything will go out of it. You will just waste your money. Don't do that mistake. Okay. So JavaScript classes maximum, I think I can start from next to next Monday. Next to next Monday. Next to next Monday means maybe from the 7th August. I thought I might start from the 3rd August, but I don't think I can finish all the topics. So JavaScript, I can start from the 7th August. Okay, because we have to learn some more topics in CSS that we will be exploring. Yeah, it is sufficient if you learn any one framework or a library. No need to learn Angular and React both. You just learn one. You just learn one first, apply for jobs. If you get the job, while doing the job, learn another framework or library. You can start with Angular or you can start with React. That is completely your choice. Both have good demand. Both have good demand in the market. Just go and research which technology has more demand. Okay, and just understand the pros and cons of React and Angular.